25 years. I want to give us 25 days to make it. So where does one start to change the trajectory of an industry that had been in business almost 5 decades before you came around? Just gotta have a dream.
Well, Bobby Bennett has certainly put in the work, 25 years, certainly hope to 25 more, and you can look forward to a new website experience with competitionplus.com, which I know people are looking forward to seeing and experiencing. And Dugenais, man, it's good to be back after a serious illness. Good to be live on the Power Hour. Nicole, thank you for filling in last week, and we've got a good show. Always good to talk to the president. Well, we don't have Trump like Rogan, but we do got the president of the NHRA with Glen Cromwell coming on in just a few moments. So we're very glad that he takes the time to come and speak with us here on the competitionplus.com Power Hour.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think we got the better president, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So.
Well, it's not without controversy even in the NHRA. You can it seems like you not do anything right, can do all wrong, but that's not the case. But when you're the individual on top, there's a lot of bullseyes set on you. And
indeed,
we had Glen about a year and a half ago on the Competition Plus Power Hour, and straightforward and answered the questions straightforward, and really I think gave perspective and vision on where the NHRA can be and is going. And if you go back to that interview, you watch it and you see where even in the short time the NHRA has gone, you can see some of those things coming to fruition. So we're going to learn a little bit more tonight. And we're going to be learning it because of people like Weldon High Performance. They pump up the Competition Plus Power Hour. CompetitionPlus.com is pumped by Weldon High Performance. Glen next. Glen Cromwell, president of the NHRA, welcome back.
Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you.
Doing great, doing great. Well, look, we'll
Great.
throw up a easy pitch to begin with. I remember that last time we had you on, you had some pennants up. Obviously, a baseball fan. So Yankees, Dodgers. What do you think so far of the series?
Well, I think you got to go with the Dodgers, right? And last I looked, they're up to 2-0 tonight, and they're 3-0 on the series. So you gotta go with the Dodgers.
Well, Glenn, I'm going to throw up an easy question. How did you get involved with the NHRA?
Oh man, you're going way back. I actually got involved with the NHRA back in 1997. Prior to that, I was with a company called Pace Motorsports. Most people know it today as Feld Entertainment. Worked with them in the mid 90s, and actually a gentleman that I worked with there at Pace was working for NHRA at the time, Ned Walliser. So obviously had a contact there and joined in 1997, and been there ever since. 26, 27 years.
Wow.
And in that 26, 27 years, what type of roles have you fulfilled to this role, being president of the NHRA?
Well, I started in 97 as the Pacific Division Director. I think most people, if you don't know, there's 7 divisions in the NHRA, geographically located around the U.S. And I handled all the grassroots drag racing here on the West Coast. And it was a great learning experience for me. I'm a firm believer that, if you're going to work at a company, understand the business from the ground up. And I really learned it. Got to work with a lot of our sportsman racers, our ET racers, our junior drag racers, and extremely helpful. And did that for about 2.5 years, and then joined the marketing department, which is what I was doing at Pace Motorsports prior to joining NHRA, and got on the marketing side and advertising, promotions, media buying, sponsor activation. I did that for quite some time, and then just took on more and more at the NHRA, and got into the television side, worked with ESPN prior to Fox, and then with Fox, it's been a great partner, and really learned the TV business side of things. And then in 2018 was named president of the NHRA. It was a great honor, and still is a great honor.
So the NHRA has had record participation from fans, and what are some of the things that have been done to encourage this attendance?
Well, I mean, I think in our business, and I think in any business, it really starts with the product, and I'll call it our racing product. It's the racing, it's the on track racing, and it's been spectacular. Coming out of COVID, we've seen probably the best racing I've seen in all of my time with the NHRA. And we've seen not only great racing, great participation, but new racers, male, females. We've seen a lot of women come into our sport, and we're excited about that. But I think, like any business, it starts with the product of what you're putting on the track, and it's been never better. It's incredible. But I think there's other things that we've done. Obviously, Mission coming in, and really a lot of activation around the events, in-store activations. We've seen our track operators really step up. For example, up in Seattle this past year, Jason Fiorito and John Ramsey really took a risk and an investment that the NHRA and Pacific Raceways made to get night racing back on Friday night. And we saw some great results with that, great attendance. And, I think it's a lot of hard work, but as I said, you can do all the different marketing, but if you don't have a great product and you don't have great superstars, it makes it difficult. And I think we have the best in the world, and I think it's only going to get better. I'm super excited for 2025 and 2026. We'll be celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2026, which I'm extremely excited about. I know everybody at the NHRA is 75 years. Wally Park started this great sport, this great business in 1951, and we're going to celebrate that.
It is certainly worth celebrating. And yes, the on-track product has been stellar and has continued to get better and better, it seems like, each year since COVID, especially I think of Top Fuel. And we've got a great show ahead of us with the penultimate event not too far at Las Vegas. And that event also dovetails into a big show in SEMA. And it seems like the NHRA has a big footprint with SEMA. I don't tend to hear NASCAR say anything about SEMA. I don't tend to hear anything about F1 mentioning SEMA. The NHRA, though, with that crowd that is SEMA and where it's gone in car culture, seems to be very well positioned to grab those people and fold them into the National Hot Rod Association. So how important is SEMA, Las Vegas, the penultimate event, and all of that combined for the National Hot Rod Association?
It's huge, and it really, you go back 5-10 years, when we used to do SEMA, we'd have a little booth, with maybe one of our cars in there. We'd have our tech guys there answering questions, and that was really what SEMA was for us. And Brad Gerber, who came over from Peterson and really elevated what we do at SEMA today. And you've seen it, we have a big stage there. We're live on NHRA.tv. We have all the superstars, we have partners, sponsors, potential sponsors coming up on stage. We have Brian Loans, Tony Pedregon, Amanda Busick hosting the show. It really has grown to be the place to be. So when you go to SEMA, and I've seen it, I'm at the booth all the time, and everybody meets at our booth. And to me, it's the cornerstone of SEMA, and it's a great way to interact with people in our business and open up new opportunities. And it has quite a bit over the last few years.
Well, we had our first two-day national event this year, and I'm sure the fans and myself were wondering, what are some of the criteria to deem where that could possibly be, and could this be implemented somewhere else?
Well, it was really a test for us. We went to Richmond, and working with Tommy Franklin and Tyler over there, we wanted to do something different, and we worked with the race teams. We were coming off of, the event that the race teams did down at Bradenton, and, they did three sessions in one day, and we were getting feedback from them that, that it went well. And we thought, let's try something new. And Tommy was for it. We were for it. And, it worked well. It was a hot day for sure on that Saturday and Sunday, but we like it. It's a different format, something to do differently versus the other events. We're going to do it again in 2025. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, like all events, the economics of the event. And if we can make it work at different events, we'll look at it. But, every market's different. There's some that it just would not work. It doesn't fit into the format of the event or the track partner that we work with. It just isn't something that they want to do. So we're going to continue doing it at Richmond, and we're going to fine tune it, and we're excited about it. I think it's great. I mean, our fans get to come in and, three sessions in one day. Definitely worth the money for sure.
Concerning national events and markets, behind you, you've got that map of the 48 for the United States of America. People are always on social media. Hey, bring a national event here, bring a national event there. We want to see it in our town. And, some places have two events and there seems to be a feast. And some places, when you look at it on that map, there seems to be a famine of NHRA national event caliber type of events. So what does it take for a market to be the right market for an NHRA national event to show up? Because when you see it happen at Epping, you're like, this could possibly happen elsewhere, and we're not seeing it. But then you see the level and the stage of a Texas Motorplex or a ZMAX and you think, wow, maybe this can't happen at another place. So what makes a market right?
Well, obviously, you need a racetrack that's going to be a good place to race, a safe place to race. For our race teams, cars going 300 plus miles an hour. We want to make sure that is first and foremost. Obviously, market size is something we look at. It's something we want to, new fans opportunities. And, we will be announcing a new program that I won't get into today, but shortly that touches a little of what you guys are talking about is, taking, a sample size of our national event and superstars to other markets so fans can taste the Mission NHRA drag racing series and use that to build these new markets and build new fans and bring them to the current places that we go. So exciting news to come, and I'll give you more detail down the road, but it is touching a little on what you guys are bringing up about new opportunities, new markets, growth. That's all coming.
Dujanay, that's exciting. You know me, I routinely, whether it's between the slicks or here, am advocating for a package of taking NHRA drag racing to smaller areas, different markets, and letting it be seen and experienced. So that's encouraging to hear.
It is, and you'll probably around PRI, we'll be announcing what that program is, and it checks all the boxes, right? I mean, we have a lot of member tracks out there that would love to have a national event. If we can slowly grow into that, if we can get into new markets, there's a lot of fans that don't make it out to certain national events that we're at today. We're going to bring it to them. We're going to let them taste the goods, so to speak. And then we're going to see how that develops. But it's definitely a growth opportunity. And we think it's going to build into something big on many years to come. So
that's exciting. Very exciting. We've seen a lot of, WWE wrestlers come out. We've had some social media influencers come out to national events. Is there any possibility that we could see some of these big time sports media personalities, kind of like a Shannon Sharp or Ryan Clark, Tony Romo, possibly, come out and get them to come out and kind of taste this thing, and maybe we hear them talk about it on First Take or NFL Live or ESPN?
No, that's a great question, and it's something our media team's working on. And we have a company that we work with, BZA, that does exactly what you're talking about on a national stage. Goes out, gets these type of personalities, influencers, bring them in, and we're touching it. I mean, you look in 2024, 2023, we've taken some of our superstars over to Major League Baseball, and we've taken them to spring training at the NFL, and we've aligned them with, Kirk Cousins and things like that. And also we're bringing them out to our events and putting them, we have a special area there at the starting line that they can come out and experience, the horsepower and the speed of our sport, and then of course talk about it. So that is one of our big initiatives, and it has been in 2023, 2024, and we're going to continue to ramp that up in 2025 and beyond. And obviously, I think with the 75th anniversary coming in 2026, it's going to be big. I mean, you're going to get a lot of big names, and I'm talking outside of our sport. Yes, we'll be bringing the big names in our sport, the legends, and Perdome and Bernstein and Shirley, and we're going to bring them all, but we're going to be really pushing on outside the sport and bring some big names out to the national events.
In line somewhat with what Dujanay just asked you, what about the motorsport side of that, in bringing the top motorsport influencers that are in the world of motorsports actively doing it? And what I mean by that is, well, bring them into drag racing and get them drag racing against our own stars in the NHRA at a NHRA national event. Now, certainly people aren't going to be hopping in a top fuel dragster and go up against Antron Brown, but what if combined with Toyota, you have an, 8-car field of Camrys out there, and, you've got Max Verstappen in a Toyota against Justin Ashley, and we see if an F1 driver can react as well as the top fueler out there in reaction time, and everybody's able to see that. And I truly believe that those who most of the time they love motorsports, they don't love another motorsport because they just haven't been exposed to it.
Right.
When I first saw F1, I'm like, oh, now I'm an F1 fan, long as well with NASCAR and NHRA. And, then I see the other crazy things happening in motorsports, and just have people that are racers come in and not just see it, but actually grab a hold of a wheel and go up against our stars.
Now, listen, and we've talked about it, and we've had Kevin Harvick over at Charlotte earlier this year. But, we'd love to get him into some Toyotas, but let's get him into some fuel cars. I think you'd all agree that, watching what Tony Stewart has done coming into the sport, crossing over from all the different racing platforms that he's touched, and the impact that he has had with the NHRA has been huge. In fact, going back to one of your questions about increased attendance, big credit to Tony. He's come in, he's brought a lot of those NASCAR fans over, and probably one of the hardest workers I've ever met. Tony's at a point of his career and his life that he probably doesn't have to work that hard. But I will tell you, he is one of the hardest workers I've ever met. I was down at Fox last week. He was down there early in the morning doing a Kevin Harvick show. The guy is, he is on it. He is promoting his brand. He's promoting NHRA. And it's a great example, to your point, of getting some of these other motorsports names into the NHRA, whether it's putting them on the track and racing each other with Toyotas, or just getting them over here and showing them what they can do over here. And I think we can get some more. I think Tony's just the beginning.
Now, we've seen some pretty cool stuff from Mission Foods. Could you just kind of speak on how, special it has been to have them, especially just being in the media room, the little, the chips, all the chips and dip and all the stuff, even the drivers are really into it. Could you just kind of expand on how special it has been to have them and the change that they have made?
Yeah, no, the big change, and a big thank you to Juan Gonzalez. He has the vision for motorsports, and really to have them come in, and I think we all talk about it, it's all about activation, and whether it's on site in the midway with the chips and autograph sessions, the interactive games they have at their midway, or in market at grocery store chains has been incredible with the stand-ups, promoting our superstars and our athletes. It doesn't get any better. And then throw the Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty program on that we run through the regular season. It's got championship points tied to it. And it really, it really puts our superstars against each other more times throughout the year, which is building the excitement around our series. And, that really all came from Mission, and they've done a wonderful job. And we're excited that we're going to keep building on those programs, and we'll keep building it up next year and in around 2026 and beyond.
We see across sports currently right now measures to picking up the pace, whether it's a clock on pitchers, college football. I'm watching games recently. I'm like, why is the clock running? The guy went out of bounds. Well, they keeping the clock running to have that game in a tighter window. And does the NHRA look at a national event and believe that pacing needs to pick up? Is that conversations that you're having with Mike Rice and other people on the teams? And how can we have the pace be faster, even with cars doing 330 miles per hour and, over 3.5 seconds in 1,000 feet for the totality of the event?
Yeah, we have had those conversations, and a lot of feedback from our race teams and our track partners, and our fans. You look at what we provide as entertainment. We start in the morning with a lot of sportsman racing, and we get into the pro show. And we may be at the racetrack for 12, 14, 16 hours, but our fans, they want to see those fuel cars, they want to see the pros. And we have talked about condensing that, turning around each session quicker. It is a big discussion. We've had a lot of our race teams come to us, that have their sponsors sitting in racer hospitality, waiting for Q2 or Q3 or Q4 on Saturday. And, where we had a large gap between qualifying sessions was not working. And so we have tightened that up. We started that earlier this year, actually got the feedback last year and changed that. And we've seen some really positive feedback from fans, sponsors, the race teams, our tracks, really like it. And but every track's a little different, and we work with each one of them individually. But our fans have our fans. And I think everybody looks at sports today. There is a short attention span. People want to see something quick, and it's our job to provide that to them.
Is this the Mike Ashley?
Yeah, it is.
Mike Ashley says he wants to see you in a Camry, one-on-one.
Mike Ashley wants to see me?
Yeah. I'll take you on, Mike Ashley.
Sure, I'll take that.
Love it.
Well, when you get that worked out, put El Presidente in a Camry as well. That'd be cool to see. Against Mike, there, he's calling you out.
Yeah, he's calling you out. He says, I want it.
I'll race him. Probably not very good. I'm sure Mike's got a lot more experience than I do on a racetrack, but I give it my best shot.
Never do it.
So, in Indianapolis, Speedway, Indiana in particular, you have got this mecca of motorsports in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The entire world knows about it. And to the west, there is Indianapolis Raceway Park. Very well known, maybe a bit lesser than Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We see currently the tower being worked upon, and there's been announcements of what is expected. What is the NHRA's plans with IRP? What can we expect? Lay out the vision of where the NHRA wants that facility to grow into.
Well, listen, I think we all know, especially folks in the industry know, that it's the Super Bowl of NHRA drag racing. And, we probably have not over the last 10, 15 years invested properly in that facility, and it's time to do that. And we've really put, and you've seen it through announcements, put really three phases together. Phase one is what you're seeing today with the new tower. You've seen photos of it. In fact, it's today. We have steel going up in there. It's moving as planned, and we are also renovating our skyboxes. Those are those suites on the side of the grandstands there on the west side there at IRP. And, that's really phase one. Phase two is to work on the west side. For people that live in Indy, know that Ronald Reagan Parkway has become a main road that runs on the west side, and that will become the new entrance there at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park in the future. And we will be building a new entrance, and that's where spectators will start to enter the facility. We'll have nice asphalted parking, handicap parking. We will be doing some ditch relocation, which if you've been on the west side, there's a lot of ditches over there. So that's much harder than you would expect. And we spent a lot of time on that, on how we're going to get that flat and get that in a good place. We're going to add new bathrooms, a new ticket booth there on the west side. So that's really phase 2. And then phase 3 is to bring the pro pits over to the west side. And that will be the main entrance in. That will be the main place where people can come in and get a great experience. We'll still have the east side that will park race cars, but that'll be the main focal point is on the west side. But that's probably a few years away, as you have to take these things in phases and invest properly. But I think when we're done, I think people will all the fans will come in and will agree that this is the big go. This is the Super Bowl. This is the place where we all get together during Labor Day and celebrate NHRA drag racing.
Speaking of phases, we saw a phase certainly new to NHRA drag racing implemented this year, and that's the betting. What is the talk of the board and the NHRA and how it's going? What is everybody's thoughts on playing on NHRA?
It's great. A little new for me. I'm not a huge bettor, but I think what you do see is this younger generation. It's the space that they live, and we need to be there. And it's really about engagement for us. It's being able to touch an age group that we believe is the future. And it's something we're moving in, and it's a progress. I mean, we started in Bristol in June this year, and we're starting to see that increase, player participation, engagement participation. So we're really happy with it, but it'll take time. There are a lot of people like to bet on a lot of different things, and I think we're starting to see them coming over to the NHRA.
Glenn, look, thank you for your time. I'm going to give you the floor and allow you to presidentially address the drag racing fans and world of the NHRA and beyond. We hear it all, from drag racing is dying to drag racing is the greatest motorsport on the planet. So if you would, take the time, look into that camera, and inform everybody about the NHRA.
Well, I will say this. I've been with the NHRA for 27 years, and I mean this when I say it. NHRA and the series, and it has the most upside coming into 2025 and beyond that I've ever experienced. Yes, the 75th anniversary is part of it, but I've never been so excited about the amount of participation coming in our sport at all levels, whether it's junior drag racing to ET racing to sportsman racing to our professional categories, pro mods. We've seen increase there, mountain motor. I mean, Factory X. I've never seen so much momentum in my time with the NHRA, and I'm excited to be part of it. To see some of our professional females coming into the sport is exciting. We are the most diverse motorsports out there, and we'll be promoting that. But I would tell you that if I was sitting on the sidelines and I wanted to be part of a motorsports platform, I wanted to invest somewhere, I would be investing with the NHRA. It's the place to be. We are going upwards, and I would like to have everybody part of that ride because it's going to be great.
Well, it's been great to have you here, Glen Cromwell, president of the NHRA, on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, guys. And one thing, you guys never get enough credit, especially from the folks from the NHRA. I really want to say on behalf of everybody, we appreciate what you guys do. We really do. Even if you're critical of the NHRA, which is fine, but we need people talking about the sport like you guys are. Need more of it, and it's not easy what you do, and I just want you to know that we recognize it and we appreciate your hard work. And congratulations to Bobby, 25 years. Hard hardworking guy, and he deserves everything he gets. So appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Folks, that was Glen Cromwell, president of the NHRA. Good to chat with him. So grateful that the president of the NHRA, well, the world's largest motorsport sanctioning body, would take the time to come on a podcast such as the Competition Plus Power Hour. He's done it before. This isn't his first time on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Certainly glad to chat with him. And Dugenais, look, we didn't answer every question. We didn't ask every question out there. We weren't able to dive into particulars of this matter or that matter, but I think overall a very positive conversation that in a few moments we'll take the time to break down.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to hear, like we've been saying, may not be as quick as we would like, but he hinted at some things that we're starting to see some movement in other areas that we probably have been talking about, and that's really encouraging to hear. That means the fans' voices are being heard, and we as the media who are pounding the ground to kind of help push this thing along, it's being heard. It's not falling on deaf ears. So that definitely is encouraging.
It certainly is. Well, look, it was a peak time to have the president of the NHRA on. We're grateful for Peak's involvement in the sport and with CompetitionPlus.com right here on the Power Hour. This word from Peak, and then I definitely will take Andrew's question. We'll dive in.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it Peak. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.
All right. Hey, Dugenais. Andrew, thank you always commenting and participating.
Yeah.
He throws out, what can NHRA do to stop tracks from closing? Mentions Houston, Topeka, Atlanta, and also prop up new tracks like Flying H and a new Denver. And Dugenais, I think that, obviously a simple, more money. Well, the NHRA is not in the realm of just throwing out money to tracks, but
right.
I think with what Andrew is asking, and if we can connect it to what we were given from Glen just a few moments ago, that now we are expecting announcement at PRI of something packaged going to other markets. That is encouraging. That is something that could certainly be helpful to bolster already established national events, and places that don't. They aren't going to get one, but they could have a taste. And the fact of the matter is, I think this sport, the sport of drag racing, it grew off of match racing.
I was getting ready to say that. That's my thought. Match racing, you get a couple cars out there, you go to a market that, can hold them, but necessarily, may not be able to get the full package. You hook some people out there that, you really hook them in because maybe they're not able to get out to a national event. It's too far. Maybe it costs a little bit more money that they don't have. It gets them going to their local track. It helps the local tracks out. And it also gets more fans, more eyeballs on to the sport. It gets that hook in them. I'm telling you, when I was young, my uncle told me that I didn't know anything about drag racing. And he took me to my first race in Reading. And he said, once you see it, you're going to be hooked. And he wasn't lying. I've been hooked since first grade. And haven't turned back since. So once you get that sensory overload, those guys would be hooked in, hook, line, and sinker. But match racing will be hella fun, if that's the case.
It will be. And it's just something that built this sport up. People would see a big name at their local track, and then they would show up for the national event. And that it was in a time when there wasn't that many national events, but you saw that big name at your local track, and then they might be at a track just down the road, and then they show up at the big event. I mean, I think about, my dad with Gene Cromer and the Moonlighter Willis and Fred Hurst, and you've got a red one and a blue one. They're going up against each other, and they would be booked in. They didn't go to a lot of national events. They didn't go to big meets all the time. They went to tracks and put on a show, and that's how drag racing honestly was built. And
Right.
I don't know what it's going to look like. Dave W., funny, long-time listener, first-time caller here. I have a question. Do you think it means we're bringing nitro to regionals and divisionals? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how they would package that. And I think we're in a time where even the regional situation might have to be overhauled. Some tracks don't want to have a regional. It is a extra cost with the cars at the speed and things of that nature. But maybe that bolsters it enough that if a track does just a percentage of the Bader move, where the regional is the night of fire event, and they just take a percentage of that and couple it together, then maybe that is, the ticket.
Yeah. That would be something. I think there's, that's something you could do that could sell, and it would work and it would benefit both parties. So, I'm all for that. I'm still blown away that Mike Ashley was in the comments.
Mike.
I'm still.
Mike
I know a lot of people watch this show, but
Mike watches. Mike watches. He's out there. Hope you're doing well, Mike.
Yeah, cool to see you.
Drag Racing Mayhem says, how is that going to work with points? One, I don't think they're talking about points. I'm not sure that they are talking about points whatsoever. And look, I think that, yes, a lot of the teams, they aren't, making money through this sport as in on national event level, but match racing does occur with fuel cars. I think of US 131 Motorsports Park. They had Reed, they had Scott Palmer, they had Krista Baldwin, they had Larry Dixon there, and along with other nitro cars for that big show. I think what is being stated here from Glen is the NHRA doing that.
Yes.
And not just leaving it up to a World Series of drag racing, a US 131 Motorsports Park, but connecting it with the NHRA to those type of markets.
Yeah, I think Dave brings up a really good one. I had thought about that when they brought back their event with the alcohol cars at No Problem Raceway. That would be a spot to do something to bring a taste of that. I'm sure their track can hold it. And
they could. And Nelson Hoyas is certainly a man that might be the first place for all
exactly.
I know. He would be jumping through hoops to get something like
Indeed.
that. And like Dave W. I mean, look, it's not a new program. It's really saying, hey, we kind of got away from what built us up to having like 26 national events. I think that's too much.
Yeah, it is.
I think 20, and then maybe it's 6 events regionally. Like call up Greg Carrillo, call up some of those West Coast dudes like Ron August, and have a West Coast type of match race scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of things just throwing out. But it's encouraging to hear from Glen Cromwell that they're like, hey, something's coming. We realize we need to do something a little different and add to the program. That is overall, to me, the most encouraging thing.
Yeah, that's huge. And it's somebody like Scott Palmer that's been pounding the ground on this with match racing, and he himself, has been assisting and participating in such things. So, it is very encouraging to hear that. I can't wait. I knew he was going to say like PRI or something. So you're going to make us wait. Gonna make us wait and stew on it. But, got to drop. That's where some of the big stuff gets dropped. So I'm looking forward to that.
Right, right. Well, Andrew, I think in some light, yes, he's comparing NHRA doing FCC smaller tracks like events without stepping on FCC's toes. I think Chris Graves will tell you that what he's doing is not in competition with a NHRA national event. It is a completely different ball game. It may be the same sport, but it's in a different venue. It's in a different market. The NHRA is not going to package a match race to go to Eddyville Raceway Park. It's not an NHRA track. It doesn't have the shutdown, things of that nature. So, we're obviously talking about NHRA tracks. This is perfect for South Georgia Motorsports Park. It's perfect for No Problem Raceway. It's perfect for Flying H to get their feet wet. It is perfect for that. I'm looking forward to PRI more than I have in a long time. I want to hear about this.
Yeah. It make me want to scrounge up some money and tell them, I'm sick. I can't come in today.
Right. And look, I will say I have seen the media department, and that has changed drastically. Look, it can always be more. We know that, but I think of Josh and Allie and Nikki, certainly instrumental in the media department. They are working really hard to get more people involved, and I see that from giving a nod to someone like Noah with Mighty Mac and out there at national events and putting that content on YouTube. And then, like, for example, would see him a lot. And I think we all know when I say this, what? No way. That guy out there. And again, you got a following. It's a different group. They're experiencing, and hey, what better way? Like, what? No way. A car going 330 miles per hour. So they've done a good job with that. I just would like to see, as my question with Glenn, more motorsport-centric influencers that are holding a wheel.
Yes.
And you see them at the track, and you see them in race mode. I feel like we need to get the crossover done with Greg Anderson and Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Greg would do going left, but I want to see Kyle Larson banging the gears on a pro stocker.
Yeah, that would be fun. They have big fans, big fan following, and that would be huge. That's how you get people to get more curious about it, especially when their driver is showing an interest. And once they get in there and they do that, they're really going to be talking about it, because we all know once you do it once, you're going to be like, wow, that was incredible. And then their fans are like, well, if they like it, well, let me see what this is all about. So, those things are huge in growing this sport, which, like I said, with Mission being a part of this thing and all of what they've done, and I can only imagine what 2025 will bring. But when you have partners like that, when you have partners like Fox, that helps. Now when you bring that in, now you really explode this thing, because I agree, Glenn's right. We're on an upward trajectory, and it's drag racing is in a really good spot. It is probably in a better spot than it's ever been before COVID. So it is very, very encouraging to see. And then we had it popped it up on the Not Bland show, but when you see people like Travis Shoemake bringing in Gillette,
right,
as a sponsor, that says a lot about this sport. It says a lot about the strength of this sport. That means that people like that are paying attention. And once one person does it, now you open the floodgates for others to do it. So I'm hoping that this isn't a one-off for him, and this is something that he can take into 2025, and we can see Travis out there full time, giving people hell, for a season, not just for spot races.
Yes. And you see markers that are definitely encouraging for the sport. And again, I think it is moving in the right direction. We all might not want it to be, we might want it to be further along than what it is, but it is moving there. And I can't wait to see a fully every phase done Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Yeah.
It has needed attention for a while. And yes, Glen did mention bathrooms. We all know it needs it there at that facility.
Yeah. I think I'll have to make Indy for 75 because he makes it sound like this thing's going to be like insane. I can only imagine what Gainesville going to be like, but I'm going to need to make a couple more races that year for 75. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it seems like they've been thinking about this for a couple of years now, and they have a really good game plan of what's going to happen. So I'm sure it's going to be like we've never seen before.
Right. And there's so many rumors out there that I think are encouraging, such as the expectation that we now have Ron Capps Motorsports bringing in another car, whether that's a Top Fuel car or a funny car. And, you have Ian Tron Brown with his driver development program wanting to bring in other entities and people to be at the professional ranks of the sport. And you see Elite Motorsports with, a move towards fuel and having also what they do have, and Elite Motorsports with, they support drag racing overall in so many ways. It's not just pro stock. You can see Elite Motorsports. You can see that sticker in many different areas of drag racing. So it's exciting to hear at the highest levels of the sport what we do have going on. And, I will say, though, I just want to end the news cycle to have a point where the NHRA has like 4, 5, 6 steps forward without a step back.
Yes.
It seems like there is a step forward, 2 steps, and then there's a step back with something. And I hope that we have ahead of us several moments of several steps forward that are positive for the NHRA. There, I also think positive for all of drag racing.
Yeah, that's going to be important. That keeping the momentum and keeping the foot on the gas pedal, and let's not have any blips or stutter steps or anything like that. That would be very, very encouraging.
Yes, it would be. And I think they've got some interesting things to navigate. Like I've lost interest in Factory X. I just, with you've got to figure out how to bring like a Jeff Turk back. And, just I've lost interest in NHRA Factory X. Those cars somewhere else, if they go race, fine. I love the concept of those cars, but
Me too.
I don't think we're going to have it as it was intended or thought to be in NHRA as of right now with what has transpired. And that's just one example I throw out there. And, didn't have the time, but, certainly the NHRA knows. I'm sure that Glen's aware. And he is certainly aware, but sportsman racers oftentimes are chiding about treatment, and in particular, I think of the alcohol ranks.
Yeah, me too.
And I hope that I'll have Sean Bellemere as the top alcohol funny car world champion on my show eventually, and I'm going to ask him again because he seems to be that senior member, that ring leader, that spokesperson for that particular part of the drag racing world in that class. Hey, how did you think this year was far as treatment for the class? And I hope I can get that answer from the world champion in top alcohol dragster, whoever that might be, or someone, again, like a Jackie Frick.
Yeah,
but there are certainly things that the NHRA has got to work on. So we had a positive conversation with Glen, but he, as much as anyone, he knows that the NHRA's got room for improvement, and I believe they're doing that as well.
Yeah. Countdown comes to mind for me. I think we've put that to bed now. You can go look at the point standings. You could have looked at the point standing 2 weeks ago. Those individuals who had participation trophies don't matter. They're not going to have any effect on the countdown. And you ruin the race of 10 or race to 10 by having that. And look at what we got coming down the stretch just in championships. I mean, Brittany Force technically is still alive. I mean, and it's 2 races to go, and she's still alive. I mean, look at Pro Stock. Look at Pro Stock Bike. I mean, it's pretty amazing what we have, and especially in Top Fuel, because it's Pro Stock-esque in Top Fuel. So let's not water down what can be an extremely strong countdown method, and a thing that can generate even more drama and stress by having handouts that I'm sure sponsors aren't proud of.
Right. Look, I will say that I'm not a fan of the elimination process in NASCAR, but it's there and it's not changing. But I will say, last lap, Miami Homestead, that was drama of drama.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
So
I'll take that.
You know, I think a little bit of tweaking, and I'm fine. Go back. I would love to see, you continue to eliminate down through. That would be fine by me. But we certainly need that participation aspect, I believe, certainly go away. I think about this, Dujanay. I didn't get to hear last week's episode with dealing with what I have. I need to go back and listen to it. And a part of that talk with having Richard Gatson on, I know, was Rookie of the Year. Well, I took a snapshot and I put it on my social media platforms. Hey, who would you vote for Rookie of the Year? And no offense to everybody out there, but I'm glad it's not a fan vote.
Me too. Oh yeah.
I'm very surprised how many people commented away from what I think, as of right now at least, is the clear front runner. And in my opinion, it's Gatson. Gatson is the clear front runner.
Yeah.
And I think he's even still the front runner, even if like Tony Stewart pops off a win.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm so surprised that, like, it's look, kind of like we had on social media and talking about it. We might want the criteria to be different, but the fact is the NHRA has set a criteria. And to me, the one that fits it the best is right now a Richard Gadsden. It's very surprising to me that people, look, Tony's great. Don't get me wrong, but he's not the front runner. No. Daniel Wilkerson, cool dude, and love that game. And it's a McKinney car. I'd love that post. Give it to me. But I mean, it shocks me.
Right. It doesn't shock me too much just being from the NFL side and seeing how this fan vote has really destroyed the Pro Bowl. And it destroyed it so bad that now you basically have NFC, AFC games, which is fine. It needed to be revamped. But I thought something that I took away from your post too is when we talk about media engagement and how really it can be imbalanced, because you look at a person like a Tony Stewart. Well, he's afforded other opportunities that a Richard Gadsden would not be afforded because of who he is. And he has a broad spectrum through NASCAR, dirt track racing. It's a big swath that he holds. So versus, Sienna Wildgust, like it's not the same. Even Ida, for who she is, she's very outgoing, known. The sponsors that represent her also help her and put her out there. It's hard to compare with, an unknown entity that doesn't get the same leverage or the same opportunities as those individuals. So that's a thing that's kind of hard to measure. But you're right. The criteria is the criteria. And like I say, when I look at the criteria, there's only one man that's deserving of that right now. And he'd have to pretty much poop his pants and fall flat on his face to not get this thing.
Right. And he just fits it overall because he certainly has the ability to be a future star. And because of his background, where he has been a winner and champion elsewhere in motorcycle drag racing. And far as, media availability, I can think back to him being on my show when he wasn't on a Vance and Hines ride, and he was willing to do that and be a part of the media meal and have that conversation. So that was him working with his PR representative to me and to come on a show. Okay. So, you see him doing that. He's done that obviously even more with Vance and Hines, but, and then also I think, the fact is in NHRA drag racing, focus does get put on nitro. If you're burning nitro, you get more focus than pro stock and pro stock motorcycle. We're not pointing out anything that is a conspiracy. It's just a reality. I get it. Nitro sells tickets. We all know that. We love nitro. We want to cry, we want to have our breath taken away and just, I get it. But right now you look at it and he is the clear front runner. Hey, credit to Ida Zetterstrom though. She has always done a good job of marketing herself and putting herself forward. I can remember having her on Between the Slicks years ago when, and she's always been available and she's done a really good job about that. And Allison McCormick has done a good job in moving that forward with Ida and putting it out there, even going campaign style for, ROTY.
That was brilliant.
I mean, it's a good move. It's a good move.
It was brilliant. I reached out to her and let her know that was very creative. That was brilliant. Even though, fans don't have a say, just the fact that move was stellar, especially in the time that we're in right now, with, election coming up. That was really well done. And it was very creative. And I even said it, hey, if she had won a race early, she might sway me a little bit with that campaign deal. Right. That was pretty dope.
Right. I agree. Well, Andrew is asking another good question. Even beyond NHRA, what's the state of other series? FCC, PDRA, Heritage Series seemed great, but NMRA, NMCA close, and NPK seems to be struggling with no TV deal. Big money bracket racing is great. Okay, so let me break some of that down. Big money bracket racing, it is doing well. It will almost always do well as long as the racers have money in their pocket, because that is a self-serving entity, if I can put it that way. The bracket racers make it big. Now, I do think you have people like Peter Biondo with the Flings. They're attempting to interject more exposure for those bracket racers, for more deals, and possibly even fans. Possibly. Maybe they can work that out. At least a viewership. It is astounding to me, Dugenais, how many people will watch a bracket race all day long. Just having it on the corner, they're doing their thing, and it is out there and it's on. It is absolutely astounding.
It is, because I don't quite get the whole bracket thing. I'm a heads up guy, but racing is racing, and if you got a bunch of good cars going at it, I might not really totally understand it, but I'm gonna watch it because they're usually, those guys are putting on one hell of a show.
They are. with NMRA and NMCA, I feel that they lost out in a competitive drag racing world as far as places to go race. I think where we're at right now, PDRA, Midwest Drag Racing Series, these other drag racing entities, it's best for you probably not to go places that hold a national event.
Yeah.
When I looked at the NMCA and NMRA schedule, a lot of times, like they had their world finals like 2-3 weeks after the U.S. Nationals. That's not a good move. It's not a good move.
No.
All right. And I know there might be some prestige. You are at Lucas Oil, Indianapolis Raceway Park. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
That might be prestigious for the competitors, but you just had a fan base in your particular motorsport have the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like who's going to go to a Pro Bowl 2 weeks in the same market after a Super Bowl? Okay, that's
nobody.
Yeah,
nobody.
Right. So I think there wasn't enough. One, let's take our product and take it to somewhere that doesn't get it.
Right.
So that's where I think like Funny Car Chaos works well. When they go to Mocan Dragway, Funny Car Chaos, Nitro Chaos, they're the big show. When they go to Central Illinois Dragway, they're the big show. Edgewater Sports Park, big show. And you got to find that place and fit in the right place. Now on MPK, I can't speak much to that, but I have said for a long time, if the TV money ever got yanked, how long can it survive? How long does it stay out there as an entity? Now, they've gone through this year. I'm sure in 2025 there's plans, and I need to give it more attention. I do, but I wonder how long it can go without Discovery's money.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough. And it warrants getting creative and forward thinking has to happen. So that will be something to see if they can make it work. Because, there's a place for it, but like you said, it's just so much going on. And you really have to be smart about how you deliver your product and when and where.
Right. And if I may say as well, this is nothing new. Like drag racing bodies come up and go down, come up and go down. Like the NHRA is the only one out there doing 75 years.
Yeah.
Okay. NASCAR. It's the only one with that longevity. They buy out ARCA. ARCA was the only one that had that, USAC doesn't have a stock car division anymore. Those type of things. So look, this happens in, just the world.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And you can look at several sports and see how things have gotten swallowed up and the bigger entities still exist. So it's nothing new, really.
Right. It is nothing new. But we've got great racing, such as the PDRA, the Midwest Drag Racing Series, and a lot of drama in the Heritage Series this past weekend. Congratulations to Bobby Cottrell with winning a championship, and lost his ride, gets another ride, it pulls it out, and amazing. Tyler Hilton picks up the Top Field Championship in McKinney, by the way, and Nostalgia Top Fuel, and some great racing out there at Famoso Drag Strip there in Bakersfield, California. And you look across the board. If you want to get in on some action, there's something for you, whether it's Southeast Gassers Association. By the way, this weekend, Shadyside Dragway, last race of the year. They will be having that action. If you're near that area, let me tell you something. You want to go to Shadyside? You better get there early.
Yeah.
You better get there early or you will be in traffic for a while. But nonetheless, very thankful for Glen's time. Very thankful that I think overall things are on the upward swing.
Yeah, definitely. And I am locked in. Southeast Gassers Association is coming to South Georgia Motorsports Park, and I will be there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's going to be cool.
Wait. I cannot wait.
Cool. That's going to be cool. And also, I think that is going to be an interesting test for Sega, because from what I understand, that's going to be the biggest venue that Sega has ever been to with a standalone Southeast Gassers Association event.
Wow.
So I think that brand and going to South Georgia Motorsports Park, see how real it is.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think they can do it. And with some of the series that South Georgia Motorsports puts on, I mean, we've got caddies and big Buicks with 26-inch rims drag racing out there.
Masters. Don't.
Yes. I mean, if they can go out here and put on a show and it be packed, Southeast Gassers Association come out here, and I can guarantee you South Georgia Motorsports Park is going to do everything in their power to make sure that they promote Southeast Gassers Association here in the Southeast, to make sure that the folks come out and support.
Andrew mentions also the World Cup there in Maryland. That is one of the biggest events in drag racing. It really is. So many different cars coming together, records fall. I mean, it is a mega event, and that will be streamed on Flow Racing, and that's another great event for everyone to catch. You got racing in Las Vegas. There's drag racing happening everywhere. Again, it almost doesn't stop. I mean, you got now the events in winter, and what off season?
Yeah, no off season, none. In what is it? Pro Promotions promoting their thing again. There is no off season. It's starting to get like the NFL now.
Tell me about it.
No off season.
No off season. Well, I'm ready for the off season on a Tuesday evening from the Power Hour. Folks, it's been good to be back here with you all, and take the time, go to a drag strip near you this weekend and enjoy, or find a cheap ticket to Las Vegas. You can fly to Las Vegas.
Can. You can.
Why not do that?
Or at least bet. I'm telling you. We gave you on the Not Bland show, we gave you really good bets to make. Okay? Make sure you do that. Dave W. gave you great stuff there. So if you don't do it and it happens, it's only you to blame. Okay?
Play NHRA and beyond. Get out there. Dave apparently has been doing pretty good with that. So,
he's up like 400%.
Yeah, he's doing good. Well, folks, it's been a good night. Thank you once again to Glen Cromwell, president of the NHRA, for the time. And thank you to Bobby Bennett for the platform. Congratulations on 25 years. Folks, look out October 31st. Something to spook it up, if you will.
Indeed.
That is new website content, new website arrangement, better mobile interaction for you. The CompetitionPlus.com reader. Till next time, God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal. Just pick something, Dujane.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.